Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Homage to my teacher, Lokaswamin Mahansi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Venerable Bhantes and meritorious lay disciples, in this world, what is the most difficult task? In this world, the most difficult task is realizing the Four Noble Truths and escaping from this cycle of birth and death. But only wise people will do that. Do you remember how our great teacher Supreme Buddha taught about that very rare opportunity? Do you remember that stanza? Appakate manussesu ye jana paragamino. Very few are those among humankind who go beyond to the far shore. Athayang itara paja tirameva anudhavati. The rest of the people merely run up and down along the bank. This is how this world always leads to more and more suffering, repeated suffering. Very few among humankind escape from this cycle of birth and death. What is the reason? Though beings have human lives, wise humans are very rare. Okay? And then the opportunity to listen to the Supreme Buddha's teaching about this real nature of this samsara is also very rare. That is the reason. So for wise humans and devas, Supreme Buddha explains the Four Noble Truths in many ways, explaining various ways to improve their wisdom, to see things as they really are. With that understanding, they will be able to experience true happiness. That is the whole point. So today we are going to learn another very interesting way of understanding this life in order to achieve that true happiness. So who will achieve that true happiness? Only wise. Only wise humans and devas will achieve that true happiness, but solely with the help of the teaching of the Supreme Buddha. If only they get the opportunity to listen to that teaching, and if only they use their wise consideration. On one occasion, our great teacher Supreme Buddha was staying near Savatthi at Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. There the Blessed One addressed the monks, saying, "O monks," Bhante, the monks responded. The Blessed One said, "Monks, I will teach you the summary and exposition of one who has had the life attached to excellent isolation." Do you know the meaning of isolation? Solitude, life. Okay, so what is this Dhamma about? The summary and exposition of one who has had the life attached to excellent isolation. Another way of experiencing true happiness. Bhaddekarattasutta. Ratta means isolation. Ekaratta means attached to isolation. Bhadda means excellent, fortunate. So the life attached to excellent isolation. Supreme Buddha explains, "Listen and pay close attention. I will speak." Then the monks were ready to listen to that excellent Dhamma. What is that Dhamma about? The life attached to excellent isolation. What is it about? The life attached to excellent isolation. Bhaddekarattasutta. Our greatest Supreme Buddha started to explain this Dhamma like this. Summary is explained with stanzas. Okay? Supreme Buddha taught this very beautiful Dhamma to the monks like this. Atitang nan vagameya nappatikang ke anagatang yadate tang pahinang tang appatancha anagatang. Supreme Buddha explains, you shouldn't chase after the past or place expectations on the future. What is past is left behind. The future is as yet unreached. Do you understand? You shouldn't chase after the past or place expectations on the future. What is past is left behind. The future is as yet unreached. paccuppannanca yo dhammang tattha tattha vipassati asanghiran asankuppang tang vidva manubrohaye. Whatever quality is present, the wise clearly see the reality right there. Not taken in, unshaken. That is how he develops the heart. Who develops the heart in that way? The wise. He doesn't chase after the past, nor build up hopes upon the future. What is the reason? Yes, what is past is left behind. The future is as yet unreached. What does he do? This wise person, whatever quality is present, he sees the reality of that, unattached, the arising and passing away of things. Ajjeva kiccang atappang kojanya maranang suye nahino sangarang tena mahasenena machuna. Today the effort must be made. Supreme Buddha explains, today itself the effort must be made to realize this Dhamma. Tomorrow death may come. Who knows? Isn't this the reality? Yes. There is no bargaining with Mara and his powerful army. We haven't signed an agreement with Mara and his powerful army. Tomorrow death may come. Who knows? Evaṃ viharing ātāpiṃ ahoratta matanditaṃ taṃ ve bhaddekarattatoti santo acikkate muniti. Whoever lives thus ardently, diligently, relentlessly, both day and night, has truly had the life attached to excellent isolation. So says the peaceful sage. Peaceful sage means the Supreme Buddha. This is the life of the one attached to excellent isolation. Do you understand how beautiful it is? Yes. It is the summary of that fortunate life. Okay, say after me. You say after me only the English translation. Atitang nanva gameya nappatikang ke anagatang yadati tang pahinang tang appattanca anagatang. You should not chase after the past, or place expectations on the future. What is past is left behind. The future is as yet unreached. Pacchuppannan yo dhammang tattha tattha vipassati asanghiran asankuppang tang vidva manubruhaye. Whatever quality is present, the wise clearly see reality right there. Not taken in, unshaken. That is how he develops the heart. Ajjeva kiccang atappang ko janya maranang sue nahino sangarang tena mahasenena machuna. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? There is no bargaining with Mara. Or his powerful army. Evaṃ viharing ātāpiṃ ahoratta matanditaṃ taṃ ve bhaddekarattasutta santo acikkate muniti. Whoever lives thus ardently, relentlessly both day and night, has truly had the life attached to excellent isolation. So says the peaceful sage, the Supreme Buddha. The Blessed One explains the summary of the life attached to excellent isolation. And then Supreme Buddha explains the meaning of each stanza and each word. Atitaṃ nānvāgameya. Before that, Supreme Buddha explains the meaning of Atitaṃ anvāgameti. And how, monks, does one chase after the past? How does one chase after the past? Run back to the past. Supreme Buddha explains, one gets carried away with the delight of. In the past, I had such a form. Now, isn't this our life? In the past, I had such feelings. In the past, I had such perceptions. So how does he do that? With the delight. With the delight, one gets carried away. With the delight of, in the past, I had such volitions. He recollects with delight, right? With attachments, with craving and desires. In the past, I had such a consciousness. This is called chasing after the past. Now Supreme Buddha explains, one finds delight, they are thinking. How? In the past, I had such a form. My hair was thus, right? And I had a very beautiful skin. My teeth was very white, right? No? Yes, recollecting. Now where does he live? In the past. It's called Atitang Anvagameti, chasing after the past. Okay? And seeing the photos, right? Always goes to the past. I had such a body, right? Form is body, right? And these features, one gets carried away with the delight of, in the past I had such feelings. I experienced happiness. In the past, I went on trips, right? And I ate various kinds of food. I played with friends. I watched movies, right? No. And I experienced pleasant feelings. Now how does he recollect these memories? With delight, right? He finds delight. They are thinking, I had such feelings in the past. And when I heard sounds, sweet voices, I experienced pleasant feelings. When I saw beautiful things, this is how I experienced happiness and joy, right? When I smelled odors, when I tasted flavors, when I experienced tangibles. Now he seeks delight. They are thinking, in the past I had such feelings. He finds delight. They are thinking, I had such perceptions in the past. I perceived very beautiful forms, sweet voices, sweet smells, delicious tastes, very comfortable touches. One recollects. Where does he live now? In the past, chasing after the past. Supreme Buddha explains, he finds delight. They are thinking, I had such volitional formations in the past. I used my body to do many things, like volitional formation, using volitional formations. I spoke many things in the past. I thought various thoughts in the past. I had these kind of plans in the past. This is how I spent my time in the past. This is how I associated with my friends in the past. This is how we organized many things in the past. Now where does he live? In the past. Right? Seeking delight in volitional formations. Then Supreme Buddha explains, he finds delight, they are thinking, in the past I had such a consciousness. I cognized very beautiful things using my eyes. I cognized sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles and thoughts. This is how I was thinking about many things in the past. Right? Okay. This is called chasing after the past. But what should be done in order to experience the excellent isolation? Yes. And how does one not chase after the past? Supreme Buddha explains, one does not find delight, they are thinking, I had such a form in the past. He doesn't find delight, they are thinking. And he does not find delight, they are thinking, I had such feelings in the past, I had such perceptions in the past, I had such formations in the past, I had such consciousness in the past. This is how one does not chase after the past. Isn't that a very developed life? Yes, that is, because we tend to turn the pages of our previous stories always, right? And we try to live in that memory. Why? Always when we come to the present, we are unsatisfied. So we don't like to live in the present. But there is a gratification in past memories. So then we try to seek delight in the past. But the wise disciple who understands the danger of craving, right? Seeking delight, he contemplates the impermanence of the 5 aggregates of clinging. Is there another way not to chase after the past? No. He has to understand that the past form was impermanent and subject to change. That is how he gets rid of that craving. He trains his mind by understanding the impermanent nature of past feelings, perceptions, volitional formations and consciousness, and understanding the danger of craving, and he develops the mindfulness on death. Ajjeva kiccang atappang ko janya maranang sui. Because he thinks, if I were to find delight in the past, I don't know when would death come to me. Right? So that is how he uses wise consideration. Then Supreme Buddha explains, okay, atitang nanwa gameya, you should not chase after the past. Then nappati kanke anagatang, or place expectations on the future. First Supreme Buddha explains, and how does one place expectations on the future? How does one build up hope upon the future? Supreme Buddha explains, one gets carried away with the delight of in the future, may I have such a form. May I have such feelings. Now where does he live? Yes, dreaming in the future. Right? In the future, may I have such perceptions. In the future, may I experience pleasant feelings, seeing beautiful things. Now planning, right? Hearing sweet voices, smelling sweet odors, and about food, right? Okay, this will taste deliciously, and I will experience very comfortable touches in the future. Placing expectations on the future, one gets carried away with the delight of, in the future I might have such volitional formations, in the future I might have such a consciousness. This is called placing expectations on the future. Don't people do like that? Okay, I will earn some money and then I will buy these kind of things. Then, yes, I will be able to experience happiness. Now, in his mind, he has bought all the objects and now his life is in the midst of all those material things. But he doesn't know still. He is living in the future. It's like a dream. Why? How to abandon the chasing after the past? Because what is past is left behind. What about the future? The future is as yet unreached. Right? So then Supreme Buddha explains, and how does one not place expectations on the future? One does not get carried away with the delight of, in the future I might have such a form. in the future I might have such a feeling. He does not get carried away with the delight of, may I have such perceptions in the future, may I have such volitional formations in the future, may I have such consciousness in the future. This is how one does not build up hope in the future. How can he do that way? Because he knows when the future comes as the present, it also will go to the past. Now what is there throughout this whole life? Impermanence. So this wise person has that understanding. Without understanding this, he knows it is impossible to experience true happiness with a satisfied life. So he knows in the future, though there will be a form, there will be feelings, there will be perceptions, there will be volitional formations, there will be a consciousness. But he knows in the past also, dependent on nutriment, form arised. With the cessation of nutriment, form ceased. In the past also, with the arising of contact, feeling arised. With the cessation of contact, feeling ceased. With the arising of contact in the past also, perception arised. With the cessation of contact in the past, perception ceased. And he knows in the past, with the arising of contact, volitional formations arised. With the cessation of contact, volitional formations ceased. In the past, with the arising of mentality and materiality, consciousness arised. With the cessation of mentality and materiality, consciousness ceased. So he has an understanding what happened in the past. What happened in the past. So he doesn't like to place expectations in the future. Why? He knows same thing will happen when that future is experienced as at the present. In the future also, with the arising of nutriment, form will arise. With the cessation of nutriment, form will cease. In the future, with the arising of contact, feeling, perception, volitional formations will arise. With the cessation of contact, they will cease. In the future, also, with the arising of mentality and materiality, consciousness will arise. With the cessation of mentality and materiality, consciousness will cease. So he knows without understanding this dependently arisen process, how he had to cling and how he suffered when the things changed, how he was troubled by defilements. connected with delusion. So he develops his wisdom not to attach to the future and to the past with defilements. Now Supreme Buddha elaborated the meaning of chasing after the past and then not chasing after the past. Then the meaning of placing expectations on the future and not placing expectations on the future. Then Pacchuppannanchayo dhamman tatta tatta vipassati. Whatever quality is present, the wise see the reality right there. Supreme Buddha explains, and how monks is one vanquished in regard to presently arisen states. Supreme Buddha explains, how is one taken in with regard to present qualities? That means, how does one cling to the present conditions? So what is there in the present that one can cling to? A form, a feeling, a perception, a volitional formation, a consciousness. Right? So Supreme Buddha explains, how does one cling to the present? There is the case where an ordinary, uninstructed person, a putujjana person, who has not seen the noble ones, is not versed in the teachings of the noble ones, is not trained in the teachings of the noble ones, right? There is an ordinary person, he doesn't know the teaching of the Buddha. He sees form as self. Rupang attato samanupassati. That is how he is clung to the present. Pacchuppannesu dhammesu sanghirati. That means he gets stuck in the form. How? Thinking that form is, yes, as self. Or he sees self as possessing form. Or he sees form as in self, or self as in form. He says, this body is mine, this body I am, this body is myself, and I have a control over this body, and I can command. Okay? I can command on this form. How? Let my form be thus. Let my form not be thus. That is how he is taken in with regard to the present qualities. He sees feeling as self. He doesn't know how feelings arise. He sees feeling as self, or self as possessing feeling, or feeling as in self, or self as in feeling. When he experiences pleasant feelings, he thinks, I am experiencing pleasant feelings, and I am the owner of these pleasant feelings. I want to hold on to these feelings. These feelings shouldn't change. Right? That is how the ordinary person is taken in with regard to present qualities. Supreme Buddha explains he sees perception as self, or self as possessing perception, or perception as in self, or self as in perception. In the same way, he sees volitional formations as self, or self as possessing volitional formations, or volitional formations as in self, or self as in volitional formations. He sees consciousness as self, or self as possessing consciousness, or consciousness as in self, or self as in consciousness. This is called being taken in with regard to present qualities. What is the danger of taking in with regard to present qualities? Because he lives regarding his life with form, feelings, perceptions, volitional formations, consciousness as mine, myself, and like that. What is the danger of that? When it changes, he has to cry, lament, and sorrow. Then Supreme Buddha explains, Katancha bhikkave pachuppannesu dhammesu na sanghirati. And how is one not taken in with regard to present qualities? There is the case where a noble disciple, a noble disciple who has seen the noble ones, is versed in the teachings of the noble ones. Now he has the association of Kalyana Mittas. He has listened to the true teaching about true happiness. He is well trained in the teaching of the noble ones. Well trained means he is practicing and he is developing his wisdom to see the things as they really are. So this noble disciple does not see form as self, or self as possessing form, or form as in self, or self as in form. Why? Because Supreme Buddha has taught him the reality of this form. This form is derived from four great elements. This earth element, water element, heat element, and air element. These things are subject to change. So when the form is derived from these four great elements, definitely the form is also subject to change, and you don't have a control over this changing form. Now this is the way to that true happiness of the life attached to what? Excellent isolation. Now this is the exposition. Now first we learned summary of the life attached to excellent isolation. Now this is the exposition, right? So in the same way, he knows the way to experience that fortunate isolation. Isolation or the life, solitude life means training to live without craving. Where does that craving lie? In regard to past, in regard to future, yes, and in regard to present, based on the ignorance at the five aggregates of clinging. And Supreme Buddha explains the way to escape from that. He does not see feeling as self. He knows when contact arises, feeling arises. When contact ceases, feeling ceases. This is how he is not taken in with regard to present qualities. He does not see perception as self. He knows perception of forms arise dependent on contacts. Perception of sounds, perception of smells, perception of volitional formations arise dependent on contacts. When contacts change, all these perceptions change. So he sees this reality. He does not see volitional formations as self, or self as possessing volitional formations, or volitional formations as in self, or self as in volitional formations. Because he knows with the arising of contact, volitional formations arise. With the cessation of contact, volitional formations cease. He does not see consciousness as self, or self as possessing consciousness, or consciousness as in self, or self as in consciousness. Dependent on mentality and materiality, consciousness arises. With the cessation of mentality and materiality, consciousness ceases. This is called not being taken in with regard to present qualities. Now who does do that? The ordinary person or the noble disciple? The noble disciple. This noble disciple gains the opportunity to experience the life attached to excellent isolation. So again Supreme Buddha explained and recited the stanzas of that fortunate life. Now, are you ready to recite in Pali? Right? Because Supreme Buddha explains we should remember and memorize these stanzas. Say after me. Atitang nan vagameya nappatikang ke anagatang yadati tang pahinang tang appatanca anagatang. You should not chase after the past, or place expectations on the future. What is past is left behind. The future is as yet unreached. Pacchappannan ca yo dhammang tattha tattha vipassati asanghirang asankuppang tang vidva manubruhaye. Whatever quality is present, the wise clearly see reality right there. Not taken in, unshaken. That is how he develops the heart. Ajjeva kiccang atappang kojanya maranang sue nahino sangarang tena mahasenena machuna. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? There is no bargaining with Mara and his powerful army. Evang viharing ataping ahoratta matanditang tangve bhaddekarattoti santo acikkate muniti. Whoever lives thus ardently, relentlessly both day and night, has truly had the life attached to excellent isolation. So says the peaceful sage, the Supreme Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So that is Bhaddekarattasutta. Isn't that very beautiful? Yes, because one day Dev asked the Blessed One a question, right? Bhante, many people in this world have very sad faces, right? Very sad faces, worried faces, unsatisfied faces. What is the reason for this? Supreme Buddha explains, the reason is they regret over the past and hanker after the future. This is the reason. And then another day asked, these monks in the forests, they eat only one meal. They don't have sensual pleasures to enjoy, but their facial complexion is very serene. They have very calm, peaceful faces. What is the reason for this? Supreme Buddha explains, they don't regret over the past and not hanker after the future. They are content in the present what they have. That is why their facial complexion is so serene. Isn't this true? Yes. And this is how that life attached to excellent isolation should be cultivated. Bhaddekarattasutta. One day, Ananda Bhante was instructing, urging, rousing and gladdening the bhikkhus with talk on the Dhamma in the assembly hall. Bhante was reciting the summary and exposition of the life attached to excellent isolation. Then in the evening, the Blessed One rose from meditation and went to the assembly hall. The Blessed One sat down on a seat made ready and asked the bhikkhus, who has been instructing and gladdening the bhikkhus with talk on the Dhamma in the assembly hall? Who has been reciting the summary and exposition of the life attached to excellent isolation? Then monk said, it was Bhante Ananda. Bhante. Then the Blessed One asked Venerable Ananda, how were you instructing and urging the bhikkhus with talk on the Dhamma and reciting the summary and exposition of the life attached to excellent isolation? So Ananda Bhante explained the same way as the Blessed One taught for the first time. So Ananda Bhante also was reciting and teaching the stanzas as the summary and then explain the same thing as the exposition. Now do you understand? The disciples learn from the great teacher and then repeats the same thing. So it is in Ananda Bhaddekarattasutta. And so after that explanation, Ananda Bhante explained, Bhante, I taught this excellent Dhamma about this life attached to excellent isolation in this way, as the Blessed One has taught us. Then Supreme says, good Ananda. It is good that you are instructing, urging, rousing and gladdening the bhikkhus with talk on the life attached to excellent isolation. Then Supreme Buddha also recited the same stanzas as the summary and the exposition, the whole thing again. Supreme Buddha taught the monks. Ananda Bhante was very satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. Not only humans, but also devas practice the same Dhamma. Right? There's a very interesting story here about the devas' Dhamma practice. On one occasion, the Venerable Lomasakangye Bhante was living in the Sakyan country at Kapilavastu in Nigrodha's park. Then when the night was well advanced, Chandana, a young deity. What is the name of that deity? Chandana, a young deity of beautiful appearance, who illuminated the hall of Nigrodha's park, approached Lomasakangye Bhante. Standing at one side, Chandana, the young deity, said to him, not who is standing near that Bhante? A human or a deva? A deva. But this deva is a very special deva. He is a noble disciple of the Supreme Buddha, and he asked Bhante, Bhikkhu, he addresses saying, Bhikkhu, do you remember the summary and exposition of the life attached to excellent isolation? Do you remember that? Then this Bhante says, friend, I don't remember. Now who asked the question? Deva. From whom? From that Bhante. Bhante says, I do not remember the summary and exposition of that life attached to excellent isolation. And Bhante asked the Deva, but friend, do you remember the summary and exposition of Bhaddekaratta? Then Deva says, Bhikkhu, I too do not remember the summary and exposition of one who has had has had the life attached to excellent isolation. Then again this Deva asked, but Bhikkhu, do you remember the stanza? Do you remember the stanza? So those are stanzas. And then that the other rest of the sutta is called, is explained the summary and the exposition, right? And then we recited stanzas. Now this Deva asked, friend, the Bhikkhu, do you remember the stanza? Then this Bhante says, friend, I do not remember the stanza of the life attached to excellent isolation. Again Bhante asked the Deva, but friend, do you remember the stanza of the life attached to excellent isolation? Then this Deva says, who is this Deva? Chandana. Bhikkhu, I remember this stanza of life attached to excellent isolation. Then this Deva asked, but friend, in what way do you remember this stanza? How do you know about that? Because I also don't remember that one. Then this Deva says, Bhikkhu, once the Blessed One was living among the gods of the heaven of the 33. One day the Blessed One visited the Tavatinsa heaven. On the red marble stone at the root of the Parichattaka tree. The Blessed One was sitting on the red marble stone at the root of the Parichattaka tree. There the Blessed One recited the summary and exposition of the life attached to excellent isolation to the gods of the heaven of the 33. So did the Blessed One teach a different Dhamma to Devas? The same Dhamma. Now that Bhante explained the same stanzas. Do you remember the stanzas? That Deva remembers. Deva says, Attitang nan vagameya nappatikang ke anagatang yadati tang pahinang tang appattanca anagatang paccupannanca yo dhammang tatta tatta vipassati asangirang asangkuppang tang vidva manubrohaye ajjeva kiccang atappang kojanya maranang sue nahino sangarang tena mahasenena machuna evang viharing ataping ahoratta matanditang tangve bhaddekarattotti santo acikkate muniti. Who recited? Chandana Deva. And Deva said, Bhikkhu, I remember this stanza of that life attached to excellent isolation. Bhikkhu, learn the summary and exposition of the life attached to excellent isolation. Bhikkhu, master it. Bhikkhu, remember it. Bhikkhu, the summary and exposition of the life attached to excellent isolation is beneficial. It belongs to the fundamentals of the holy life. So that Chandana, that young deity, said this to Lomasakange Bhante and vanished at once. Okay. Then when the night was over, this happened in the night. When night was over, Lomasakange Bhante set his resting place in order and taking his ball and outer robe set out to wander by stages to Savatthi, because Blessed One was at Savatthi and Bhante was at Kapilavastu, far away, right? Was Kapilavastu the Lumbini, the birthplace of the Buddha in Nepal, right now? And this Blessed One was staying at Savatthi. He at length arrived at Savatthi and went to the Blessed One in Jeta's grove, Anathapindika's path. And Bhante paid respect, paid homage to the Blessed One, and sat down to one side and told the Blessed One all that had occurred, and said, "Please, Bhante, teach me the summary and exposition of the life attached to excellent isolation." Before teaching the meaning of that, Supreme Buddha asked that Bhante, "Bhikkhu, do you know that young deity?" Then Bhante said, No, Bhante. "Bhikkhu, that young deity is named Chandana. He heeds the Dhamma." When I was teaching this Dhamma at Tavatin's heaven, he was giving it attention. And when he listens to this Dhamma, always he engages it with all his mind. Now Supreme Buddha praises that Chandana deity. This deity, he hears the Dhamma with eager ears. So Supreme Buddha praised that Chandana deity. So, and then Supreme Buddha explained the exposition, summary and the exposition of Bhaddekaratta, the life attached to excellent isolation. Bhaddekarattasutta. If we can memorize this, so it will be very helpful. Okay, so may all of us have the fortune to develop our wisdom, not to chase after the past, or not to place expectations on the future, but to see the reality, the arising and passing away in the present, because we don't know when we will have to die. So Supreme Buddha encouraged the disciples that way. Say after me, "You shouldn't chase after the past, or place expectations on the future. What is past is left behind. The future is as yet unreached. Whatever quality is present, the wise clearly see reality right there. Right there. Not taken in unshaken. That is how he develops the heart. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? There is no bargaining with Mara, and his powerful army. Whoever lives thus ardently, relentlessly both day and night, has truly had the life attached to excellent isolation. So says the peaceful sage, the Supreme Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So even the Devas practice this excellent Dhamma, and they memorize that Dhamma. They experience true happiness with the help of the teacher of gods and humans. So may all of us have the fortune to memorize these stanzas, like that Chandana deity, young deity, memorized well. May all of us have the fortune to realize the Four Noble Truths before death in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Do you have any questions about that Dhamma? Or? What is the name of that sutta? Bhaddekarattasutta. Now, Luksana translates properly this name. Bhadda means excellent or fortunate. It is made of three words. Bhadda, Eka, Ratta. Not Ratti. Ratti means night. Here Ratta. Ratta means attached. Eka means isolation. Okay? So then Bhadda, Eka, Ratta. Bhaddeka, Ratta. The life attached to excellent isolation. You will not find that translation in English translations. This is how it should be understood properly, okay? Bhaddekarattasutta from Majjhima Nikaya. So now, children, do you remember how to gain true happiness with today's sutta? How to gain true happiness? Should we worry about past? Thinking about past things? Oh, I couldn't pass the exam, right? And I had that thing. Now I don't have it anymore. Should we think about like that in our past? Oh, I enjoyed in the past with these things. Is that the proper way? No. Why? It leads to unhappiness. Today we learned that. Okay. And what about the future? Should we find delight in future? No. Why? Yes, because when it changes, we will have to cry. So what is the safe way? Not to seek delight in future, right? And then what about present? Yes, one should understand when we see things, when we hear sounds, when we smell odors, when we taste flavors, when we touch tangibles, when we think thoughts, how does this happen, right? And then we will be able to understand the things as they really are, right? Do you remember, because we don't develop our wisdom to understand the things as they really are. When something happens, we think it's unexpected, right? That's why we get agitated, we get excited, right? We shout and blame others, we use harsh words, right? What is the reason? Because we were not training our minds to see that thing. But continuously, right? If this mind is trained, when things follow their own way, then wise people will say, "Oh, I was thinking about this, now it happened." Right? I was thinking about this, now it happened. Supreme Buddha has advised me to understand that this body is subject to sickness. I was thinking about that, now I am sick. I don't cry because I was thinking about this, right? Is it unexpected or expected? Now it is expected. That is how this true happiness should be achieved. So now we are going to share merit. We collected merit by paying homage to the Supreme Buddha, offering all puja items, observing 5 precepts, reciting suttas, spreading loving kindness, listening to Dhamma, preaching the Dhamma. Let's share merit with our teacher Lokaswamin Wahanse. May Lokaswamin Wahanse realize the 4 noble truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all Brahmas with Sahampati, Mahabrahma, Sanankumara, Mahabrahma, Sakkadeva, 4 great kings of Devas, all Asuras, Nagas, Gandhabas rejoice in this merit. May they help all of us to follow the Dhamma continuously. May all Devas realize this supreme Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May our departed relatives rejoice in this merit and have happy lives. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all of us have the fortune to experience true happiness by realizing the 4 noble truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddapachayino chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukham balang ayurarogi sampatti sagga sampatti mevaca to nibbana sampatti minate samijjatu. Sukhiyat. Sadhu sadhu anmodami. Sadhu anmodete. Kamami kamitabban. Sukhi hotu dukkhamuchantu. Now don't forget, this is the way to have beautiful faces, right? Okay, Supreme Buddha has taught that.